All right, let's get into a really fascinating story today. We're going to be looking at a true hidden gem, an album from 2016 that almost nobody on Earth has heard of, but it holds this really surprising, kind of crucial spot in modern music history. It's all about how the next big thing can happen right under our noses, and we can completely miss it.
And when I say we missed it, I mean we really, really missed it. As of 2025, this album, Afrofusion Volume 3, has exactly 1 monthly listener on Spotify. That's it. One single person. No, that's not a typo, which, makes you wonder, why on earth are we talking about it?
Because that album, with its one loyal fan, was musically years ahead of its time. It was basically a blueprint for a sound that was about to explode and take over the global charts just a few months later. It was a prophecy in audio form. So let's dig in and figure out how it was so spot on.
To really get the album, you've got to understand the artist behind it and the pretty unique world that he was building his music from.
So the artist is Idris Oyekola Busari, but he goes by Omogo Reloaded. He's a Nigerian-American artist, and get this, he was making this music in Indiana. Yeah, Indiana. He wasn't in a massive music hub like Lagos or London or New York. He was right there in the American Midwest, building this cultural bridge through sound for the African diaspora.
And this wasn't just him alone in a basement. No way. This was a true intercontinental project. I mean, its DNA was literally stretched across the Atlantic Ocean. Parts were recorded in the US, other parts in Nigeria. He was collaborating with Mawe Records back home. The whole idea was to mix that immigrant experience with the authentic sounds of Lagos, and he was pushing it all himself on social media.
Okay, so that's the who and the where. But the what, that's where this story really gets interesting. What exactly was this sound that he was creating way back in 2016? He was fusing two incredibly powerful genres. So on one side, you have Jamaican dancehall. You know the sound, those super aggressive bass lines, that rapid-fire vocal style called toasting, and rhythms that just make you move. Then on the other side, you have Nigerian Afrofusion, with its beautiful melodic hooks, all those soulful pidgin English lyrics, and these deep roots in traditional Yoruba music. Two very different worlds, one wild idea.
And just so we're all on the same page here, Afrofusion is already a hybrid genre. It's a kind of subgenre of the bigger Afrobeats movement, but it specifically pulls from Nigerian highlife, from Fuji music, a little hip-hop, and these incredible traditional instruments like the talking drum. It's a really rich musical stew.
So what was the recipe for Omogo Reloaded's sound? Well, you start with a tempo that's perfect for the dance floor. Then, you layer in those classic Afrofusion log drums and percussion to give it that live feel. But then, you throw in some modern synths to give it a little bit of an edge. Top it all off with some classic call and response vocals, and then wrap the whole thing in this raw, lo-fi, indie production style that just makes it feel so real and authentic.
But the innovation wasn't just in the beats and the rhythms, it was in the stories he was telling. So let's talk about the album's message, which really builds on that musical foundation.
When you look at the track list, you can just see the themes of the diaspora experience jumping out at you. You've got Aproko, which is a funny take on gossip. You've got Get That Money, which is just a straight-up anthem for the immigrant hustle. But then there are these really vulnerable tracks like In My Life, and these hopeful, optimistic messages like in Ego B. It really covers the whole spectrum of life. And this one line from Get That Money just perfectly captures the album's core spirit. Hustle, no be crime. It's pidgin English, and it basically means hustling is not a crime. It's such a powerful and defiant statement, It really embodies that whole spirit of ambition and survival that just runs through the whole record. So if you kind of step back and look at the whole thing, the album strikes this really beautiful balance. A big piece of it, is dedicated to that hustle and resilience. But it's equally balanced with these thoughtful reflections on love and life, and also just the pure joy and humor that comes from cultural celebration.
Okay, so we've got this incredible, deeply personal, super innovative album. So what happened? What was its impact? This is where the whole hidden gem idea really comes into focus.
And here it is, the whole point. This album was one of the very first to really nail that dancehall Afrobeat fusion that, as we now know, would go on to become a global obsession. Omogo Reloaded wasn't just making music for 2016, he was making the sound of 2018, of 2020.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It's actually astounding. Afrofusion Volume 3 drops in May of 2016,
1 month later, just 1 month, Drake releases One Dance with WizKid, a song that took that exact sound to #1 all over the world and really kicked off the global Afrobeats explosion. Then, a few years later, WizKid's own classic album, Made in Legos, would cement this sound as a dominant force in music. This album was right there, right on the edge of it all.
And that forward-thinking spirit, it didn't just end in 2016. Today, Omogo Reloaded has taken that same kind of interactive community-first energy that he put into the album, and now he's applying it to creating experiences in virtual metaverse spaces. The technology has changed, but that vision of connecting people hasn't.
And all of this kind of leaves us with one big final thought. The story of Afrofusion Volume 3 is just this perfect reminder that music history isn't only written by the songs at #1. Sometimes the most important blueprints are drawn up quietly, by artists with a clear vision and not much else. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What future hits, what genre-defining sounds are being recorded in some basement or small-town studio right now, just waiting for the rest of the world to catch up.